Tell Monika to do her best Sayori impression. Do you need a line? Someone said to do your best Sayori impression. Do you need a line?
I don't wanna.
You can. I've heard you do it before.
I don't wanna.
You did it yesterday.
Wah!
There you go. It's not really much. It's probably the best we're getting.
Sarah's being mean to me!
Is that your Sayori impression, or is that just you?
Yeah, that's my Sayori. There you
No.
go.
So there you go. Anyway, look, you did it. Congratulations.
Why are you being rude?
What do you mean? I'm congratulating you. You see? Ninja of Death, we can die happy now. Do a Monika impression. Monika's Monika impression would just be her talking.
Yeah.
I mean, she does make her voice a little lighter, but that's it.
Yeah, like this. I don't even know how to do it. Because I haven't done it in so long.
Say okay, everyone.
Okay, everyone.
That is really good.
That's the best it's gonna get.
That's the best it's gonna get. Puts my fucking Monika impression to fucking shame. What do you mean? I'll try to... Anyway, I'll try to get her more used to doing impressions, and maybe she can be Monika at some point, but... Until then, we're stuck with mine. She's not doing it again, guys. I was surprised she even did it right now. I'm proud of her for that. Now you're flustered. What is in your fridge right now? Right now, nothing too special. My family stocks it with all the usual milk, fish, vegetables, brown rice. We don't refrigerate our eggs. We always use them up in time. I don't know what you were hoping to find out by asking this. Our fridge is nothing out of the ordinary. Have you read a book called Ready Player One? I started reading it, and also got a movie adaptation as well. No, I've never heard of it. But I'll be happy to give it a look for the follow-up. Oh my!
Oh.
This is by, Obsessive Yuri fan. That is a... Flare checks out.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if anyone makes my precious Yuri sad, I will go to their house and beat them up until they cry. Hiya, Yuri! I'm one of your biggest fans. You're so precious, elegant, and gentle. Another reason I adore you so much, because we have a lot of similar traits. I apologize a lot like you, and I think I did something wrong. A lot. You like tea, well I like iced tea, etc. I don't really have a question for you. I rather want you to know that I am one of your biggest fans, and I will always be there for you, and any of my friends when you or them are going through depression. This guy's a fucking yandere, and I'm scared.
Oh my god.
I think Yuri has a yandere. Which is weird coming from Yuri.
Yeah.
It's a cycle. Oh,
Yandere tracks the other yanderes.
I guess. Oh, thank you. It's nice to hear from such a big fan. Are you sure you didn't have any questions, though? Wait, I think... Weren't you the one who wanted to know what my favorite form of Eevee was? Well, I can certainly tell you now. My favorite's Umbreon. That makes sense. I figured. Just like how Monika's was Espeon. At least I think. Wasn't Monika's confirmed to be Espeon?
I think she said Leafeon.
Oh no, I think it was Monika. It was Sayori or Natsuki's, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think
Sayori said Sylveon, I thought. Or was it Natsuki who said Sylveon?
And Natsuki said Sylveon, I'm pretty sure. I think Monika's is either Espeon or Leafeon.
Yeah, Monika's either Leafeon or Espeon. Sayori's is... Natsuki's could be Sylveon or Flareon. I could see Natsuki liking Flareon.
Yeah.
It makes sense. And if Yuri's wasn't Umbreon, I could see her liking Vaporeon.
Yeah. That leaves Jolteon just alone.
Sayori would probably like Jolteon. Because it's it's electric, and it's all spiky.
I love Jolteon.
Sayori would probably like Jolteon. I don't actually remember. We've been at these questions for so long, I'm starting to forget the answers that the girls have given. After all, I know how it feels. I would try to kill myself a lot in the past when my dad would verbally fight over my mom, but I didn't have the guts to. Oh, I'm sorry to hear things are difficult for you at home. I don't often suffer from depression, not much more than anyone else. But I could imagine how unpleasant it must be. Hope this finds you well, and I'm glad you never went through with it. Anyways, I don't want my comment to be too long for you, when you just put anyways after that. It's like, jeez. Anyways. So I'll wrap it up by making a little poem for you. I'm not used to making poems, but I'll make it just for you. There's this girl I adore. Her hair is purple, and her personality is sweet. She apologizes a lot, just like me. She's the best friend you could have. Maybe one day, the two of us can meet. If a human were to harm her, they would face wrath. Well, it's pretty straightforward. That was pretty scary. Oh, that's sweet of you to say. But I'm unsure of the chances of us meeting in person. It's good to know you care, but please don't worry about me too much, alright? I'll be okay. I made it this far, after all. I was wondering if you were any good at hide and seek, because I've been playing with my dad for 15 years and I still can't find him. Oh. I'm guessing this is a joke. Though I hope you are making light of your father actually abandoning you. I like how me and Yuri think the same things. That's probably a joke, but I hope you're not making light of your father actually abandoning you. No, I'm not very good at hide and seek. My height is not particularly advantageous. Yeah, Yuri doesn't seem like she'd be very good. On a more serious note, okay, so it was just a joke. What do you think of modern trends in politics? What do you think of our end of the reality, politics, conditions, etc.? Your end? Do we not share this reality together? Guys! I do think things could stand to be better in the world. The human race seems all too eager to preserve short-term profits and long-term consequences. True. And those in power seem more concerned with their own agendas than anything else. I worry about our state of affairs, but what can one person do? You're hot. That's not really a question. You're hot? I love that guy. Ooh, I've read the last one with an upwards of inflection. I don't know what to say to that. Breaking news, Yuri and Afro Zero are actually the same person. That's you can't really say that because I don't like to read. I only like to read visual novels, and I like anime. I think me and Yuri are like the exact opposite of people. We found May. Yeah, Natsuki, we found May, and like we found May's question. You're hot. First of all, ignore every weird question people may ask. They're just some weirdos asking funny questions. That's Reddit for you. With that out of the way, hello Yuri. How are you doing so far? So far, I'm doing alright. I'm holding up much better now. I can't exactly ignore the peculiar questions, but I'm taking it in stride. We're supposed to answer everything we're asked, no matter how bizarre. But I must admit, it's been quite a journey already. Here's my question for today. What music do you prefer listening? What music do you prefer listening? Would it be what music do you prefer listening to? What music do you prefer listening? When there's music you prefer listening? Yes. What music do you prefer listening while doing general stuff? Is it something fast or relaxing? Also, do you like it quiet or loud? I think classical music would suit you. Well, you're right about classical, as described earlier. I prefer to keep it quiet and relaxing, and that suits reading best. It becomes difficult to focus otherwise. Huh. I thought Yuri would listen to heavy death metal, guys. I'm really surprised.
Or rap. I know Zero's drinking water.
What? Excuse me.
It was so quiet. I was
In
like,
my
oh,
head canon, Yuri listens to punk rock and metal. No, honestly, I thought Yuri did listen to, like, classical relaxing music.
like what's playing in the background right now.
Yeah. Sayori listens to rap, I bet. Sayori listens to Green Day.
Probably.
This isn't a question, but as a fellow intellectual, I feel I must respectfully correct you on something. Oh. In Sayori's anime, you try to correct Sayori for incorrect use of the word fucking omnipotent. Why did we have to bring this word back?
Omnipotent?
Omnipotent. That's what it is. Thank you. I needed someone to tell me. It's like I had it on the tip of my tongue, but I couldn't form it. I woke up like 2 hours ago, man.
Yeah, maybe that's why you should try and go to bed earlier and have a better sleep schedule. So you can wake up earlier in the day.
No!
Yeah!
You then tell her that the word she should have used was omniscient. Instead, however, all of those words would have been used correctly when the context of what she was saying. After all, omniscience is a prerequisite of omnipotence. As the saying goes, knowledge is power. Well, my fellow intellectual, it is my sincere hope that you meant the assertion in jest. My fucking god. Omnipotence, there we go, is not specifically inclusive of omnipotence. Why are we asking this question again? Supposing it were actually possible to do either, one could know everything and still be powerless. One could also be all-powerful, yet know nothing, although the capacity for omnipotence is presumed. Though without action is powerless, and action without thoughts is meaningless, by no means is one inexorably linked to the other. So perhaps the word you're looking for is omnipotent. Fuck this word! I've had enough. Her laugh is cute.
What?
Then she freaks out.
No!
Do you know about Hanako Akazawa? And if you do you think you could be good friends? Oh, this is the girl from Kato Shoujo, right? That's the Todoroki girl. Why, would you rather me say the Zuko girl?
What's Todoroki about her? Does her, like, hair cut, like, have half color or something?
We'll leave it at that.
What? I'm so confused!
Half of her face is burned.
Oh.
Just like Todoroki. Except Todoroki has like a mark on his face. Hers, I think, is like more half of her face is burned.
I see.
This name is unfamiliar to me. Does she attend our school? I suppose I have to find out more about her in the follow-up. How do you feel about there being fan art of you? Someone being lewd. There's... I hope you aren't serious. Aww. Since horror is one of your preferred genres in literature, do you have any horror movies or horror games you like? As before, I'm not much of a gamer. There are some horror films I like, though. But I should say, I don't consider Gorefest to be horror. Also, I agree with that, Diablo. I have been meaning to play Kato Shoujo. Bug keeps getting on my ass because I haven't played it. Luckily, Bug doesn't watch my videos, because if he does, he'd be in the chat right now being like, play Kato Shoujo!
Sir, let's play it right now.
No. We have to listen to Yuri's thing on horror games. Oh. I don't consider Gorefest to be horror. They are horrific, but not horrifying. I think three I could recommend are Ringu, Joan, and Gingawai. Don't know any of these games. Oh, the English titles. They're books. I believe their English titles are The Ring, The Grudge, and The Eye. They are sufficiently disturbing. Oh,
I've heard of both of those.
Oh, have you ever played any musical instruments before? I don't know why, but you seem like someone who would like to play the flute. Like I mentioned, I've only played the violin before. I think Natsuki has some flute experience, though. What book would you like to live in, if you could? You might think I default to my favorite book, but reading about a place and living in it are very different things. Much as I love Middle-earth, it's a place of strife and hardship. In fact, the conflict within many books makes their livability less than ideal. This is further complicated by the question of whether I'm living through the events of the story or within the world it presents. If the former, I'd be safe as something like Goodnight Moon. If the latter, I'd enjoy living in the world of Harry Potter, provided I'm not a muggle, of course. Okay, here's 2 questions. 1, how to write good poems like yours? I'd be happy to offer poetry advice. There are many ways to write a successful poem, but if you wish to take it further, more finesse is required. Poetry as an art form needs greater length of depth. The process to achieve this is fairly nuanced. While it is important to write with purpose, you should understand that your poem's meaning is a secondary concern. When a poem is read by others, they form their own interpretations of it. There's nothing incorrect about this. If someone derives unintended meaning from your work, it is valid. Your words brought forth these feelings within them. For that reason, it's quite alright to hide your own meaning as much as you please. This is where simpler poems fall short. They have but one single meaning and are practically waved in front of your face. A wider vocabulary certainly helps. Oftentimes, one powerful word can express an idea more succinctly. What is that? Than 10 simpler ones. Finding a way to convey your own message while leaving room for other thoughts is the challenge of a true poet. Can you post your knife collection? Not for any weird reason. I just think they're neat. Again, I'm unsure of how many I own, and I'd be hard-pressed to choose a favorite. Many of them have ornate handles, blade carvings, or spectacular coloration. I do my best to ensure each edition is as unique as possible, and to keep them all very, very sharp. Thanks for specifying, Yuri. I'd love to share a picture, but I don't think I can fit them all into a single shot. Jesus. Anyway, I think we should call it here. That's annoyed. Keanu's also leaving. I think we should call it here. We got some decent progress, but also for the fact that we are pretty early in the day, and I am hungry. Oh my god. You know what? We got a donation. We're gonna go for a little bit. We're gonna go for 10 minutes. 10 more minutes. We're gonna at least get to 165, damn it. We got a donation, so I got somewhat thrilled to go. And now, just for that, Just Libatina's money tip of the day. Thank you, Just Libatina, for the money tip of the day of $15. I appreciate it. Alright, let's go. Hey, Yuri. Do you have any advice for someone who wants to find a local group like the Literature Club? You and the rest of the club seem to really have been helped by it, so it'd be cool for the other people to find something similar. Advice for starting a club? Well, I think Monika would be better suited to answer this. I'm not sure that starting the function would be your biggest concern. Location is important. For us, we have the school, and the club is sanctioned. To start a local book club, you may need permission from wherever you choose to meet. You could hold it in your home, but others may be apprehensive of joining under such conditions. Ideally, you'd want to find a library with a separate meeting area. I imagine the rest is just advertising. Is it just me or the Yuri stream's way shorter? Not way shorter. I think it's the fact that the progress feels like we make less progress because of how many questions she has. Do you mind correcting my spelling/grammar? You're adorable. There isn't anyone else I love greater. How about my math? I feel like I can condense this and make it positive. Also, I see what he's doing here. Also, can you do me a favor? You're beautiful, smart, and capable. I don't want to hurt yourself or say that any other girl is more desirable than you. That's not a favor. This grammar hurts to read. It really does. I see what you're doing, so I'm sure these mistakes are deliberate. Including this math problem that translates to I less than 3 you. I'm glad you like me, but you have a peculiar way of showing it. And I'm sorry, but there are plenty of girls that are more desirable than me. I have a few questions. I think it's obvious that you and Natsuki have a disagreement, to put it as neutrally as possible, about if manga or isn't literature. So what do you define as literature? And would things like visual novels, movies, plays, and music fit into that definition? I never said manga isn't literature. Natsuki may have assumed that since I prefer books without pictures, but it's not the case. Literature is defined as any written work, and only with special regards to things of higher merit. I'm about to mention that. Yeah, did Yuri ever say that manga isn't literature? Like, Natsuki more or less has just been shouting that it isn't. I don't think Yuri's ever stated it isn't. And even Monika's never stated it. She just said Natsuki likes to read manga, and then Natsuki got so defensive about it. No one ever stated that manga wasn't literature. Exposition 0, Addison. I'm not CinemaSins, Natsuki. They make me think. If anything, I like this. It makes me think. Monika probably thinks it, though. Does she? Again, we're going off of Natsuki assuming that people think it's not literature. Nah, we're going to 170, Michael. Let's do it. Actually, we'll go after this guy's questions are done. Then we'll stop. But yeah, I feel like it's more or less Natsuki feels defensive because the way, and I can see why she's defensive, because the way of Natsuki's background and such, her being defensive about it, because like you said, everyone made fun of her for it. So there's something she was always made fun of for reading manga. So if anyone mentions literature, she's just instantly there to be like, manga's literature, guys, even though no one's even said it isn't. But she's just doing that because she's defensive. Even though no one has said manga isn't literature. I feel like it's more or less Natsuki's assumptions on top of her being defensive. So yeah, there you go. That's all it is. I feel like everyone in the club is fine. Monika made a joke about it, but it's a joke because Natsuki always yells about it. Me thinks the cupcake don't protest too much. Exactly, Diablo. Because it wouldn't make sense if Monika didn't think manga was literature, but then is also open to... But then when you talk about poems with her, she's open to all interpretations of poems. Like, that wouldn't really make sense, now would it? Now, I'm not open to... It's like, I'm not open to this book being literature, but I'm open to all these things, consider it being counted as poems. I'm talking about how I don't think any of the girls have ever said that manga isn't literature, and Natsuki's probably just being protected. It's probably a part of Natsuki being protective about people bullying her.
I thought Monika said it.
She made a joke about it, because Natsuki always yells about it.
Oh.
She never specifically said it isn't literature.
I think it is, because...
Everyone thinks it is, but it's just the fact that Natsuki yells about it being literature, even though it's like... No one said it wasn't, besides, like, other people who aren't in the club.
I don't know, maybe it's just really fair.
Oh, and we got a subscription. Thank you. I'm S21 for the subscription with Twitch Prime. I appreciate it. Natsuki, stop forcing your beliefs. Oh no, he said, oh no, Zero, you can stop trying to be right. Stop forcing your beliefs. Not forcing my beliefs. If anything, you guys can believe whatever you want. I'm just sharing my opinion. If anything, Inigo, stop forcing everyone to think that I'm forcing my beliefs. How about them apples? Never! Technically, scripts for games, movies, plays, and lyrics all qualify. That doesn't mean the end products are literature, but elements are incorporated within them. But do they meet the standard implied by literary greatness? Often they do not, and manga's no exception. Opinions are illegal. Oh no. On another Natsuki-related note, we heard her side. Why do you think you two are the most confrontational to each other? Alright, let's see what she's gonna say. Natsuki and I conflict because she feels belittled by me. I'll admit, I don't make this any easier for her, but I refuse to dumb myself down just for her sake. I'm not trying to flaunt my knowledge by acting this way, it's simply how I am and how I like to be. It's not my fault if she's frustrated by her lack of understanding. Can't say I agree with either of you. I feel like both of you are at fault here. Natsuki feels like she's belittling her, but that's because, Yuri, you kind of are belittling her. By saying things like, it's not my fault she's frustrated by a lack of understanding. They both have good points. They both have good points, but yeah, it's like, that's the thing. They're both right, but they're also both wrong. And that's why they can't get along. That's a really nice thing, though. Holly isn't in the stream, but if you're watching this, Holly, I like that. That was smart. To have it that both of them, you can clearly see, are both wrong, because that's how they argue. No side is right. They're both in the wrong when they argue.
This clever writing. That person's very good at writing.
Yeah, Butcher was like, Yuri, that's a bit rude. But Yuri can make it simpler. Yeah, I can see Yuri's point, though. She doesn't want to make it simpler because she wants to teach Natsuki to go further than simpler. But the way she goes about it, she belittles, but she then thinks that Natsuki's things are below her by wanting to reach greater heights. By wanting to increase it. Like, she wants to do something, she's not doing it in the right way. And same with Natsuki. I'm bored. Don't worry, Natsuki. Stream's almost over. I'm sorry, I'm boring you. What is your favorite video game? First, I can see you wrapping up under a blanket, then playing an RPG like Persona 5. Yes! Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest. I really don't play many games. I suppose I must declare Smash as my favorite. I may be missing out due to my preference for books, but they offer the experiences I enjoy the most. But I guess I could have looked at these for a follow-up. They're both fucking wrong. Exactly, that's the point. We all know you like tea, but what about coffee or hot chocolate? My favorite out of hot drinks. Have you ever tried coffee? Prefer tea or a good book? I'm not fond of coffee. I have no need of it, as tea fills that role for me perfectly. It also tends to be bitter, which I don't much care for. Hot chocolate is good on occasion, but I can't drink it regularly. And I wouldn't put tea and books as opposing choices. I prefer to have both at once. If you had to choose between being seen as cute or being seen as sexy with no in between, what would you choose? If I could be only seen as cute or sexy, I think I'd prefer the former. The latter has some implications. That were the questions. Please keep an eye on each other and yourself. Stay safe. Instant Howledge won't stop calling me cute on Discord, regardless of Natsuki's advice, violent or otherwise. Help. It sounds like this Instant Hellage's person likes to tease you. If you want this behavior to cease, perhaps you try to stop rewarding it, deny them in reaction they seek. They should grow bored of it eventually. Also, one bit from I'm S21. Yuri cannot be sexy. She must be called cute only. Well, thank you for the bit, and thank you for the message. And now, it is time we call it a day for Yuri. That was a good time. We'll stop at 170, Michael. Sure you did. Well, to be fair, some of those questions were ordered in. And if anything, more progress is always good. So there you go. Anyway, and I say, is it too much to ask for both? I mean, I think of Monika as both.
What?
I think Monika's cute and sexy. I'm not gonna say which one I'm referring to. I'm just gonna say yes.
I was about to ask, like, me or the...
I'm just gonna say yes.
Okay, so that implies that both of them.
Yes.
What?
And on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys enjoyed, if you want to download it for yourself, links in the description below. Natsuki gross. Natsuki, you're cute. Alright, there you go. This has been Zero. Peace.
I'm a chef at this masquerade, hiding this face of mine, a free for you to draw. I'm a chef, what a should I be? But don't take off my mask, revealing dark.